All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going on a journey through the entire life of a business partnership. I mean, from that first exciting spark of an idea all the way to the final handshake. We're going to unpack what the law, specifically the Indian Partnership Act of 1932, really means for anyone thinking about teaming up. So, let's get into it.
So you've got this amazing idea, right? And you're thinking, hey, I should team up with my friend and we could conquer the world. It's a classic story. But, before you even start dreaming about logos and business cards, it's so important to understand what you're actually getting into, legally speaking.
We've broken this whole journey down into 4 key stages. First, we'll run through what I'm calling the partnership test to see what the law really thinks a partnership is. Then, we'll talk about launching. After that, we'll get into the messy middle, how to deal with growth and change. And finally, we'll cover how to bring it all to a close the right way.
Okay, let's start at square one. Before you can even form a partnership, you gotta know what the law actually defines as one. And believe me, it's not always as simple as just saying, we're partners.
This little bit from Section 6 of the Act is everything. It basically says that when push comes to shove, the law is going to look past all the paperwork and try to figure out the real intention between everyone involved. It's less about a specific document and more about what you all truly meant to build together. A real partnership has 3 magic ingredients. 1, there has to be an agreement, and that can even just be a verbal one. 2, the whole point has to be sharing profits from a business. And 3, this is the big one, there has to be what's called mutual agency. That just means that each partner can act for the whole firm. And that's why just getting a piece of the profit doesn't cut it. A lender who gets a percentage or an employee who gets a bonus tied to profits, they're not automatically partners.
Okay, so you've passed the test, you know you're creating a true partnership. Fantastic. Now let's get to the exciting part, actually launching the thing and making it a legal entity.
The process is actually pretty logical. You start with the basics. Who are the partners? What's the name? What's the business? Who's putting in what money? Then you get to the most important document of all, the partnership deed. Seriously, think of this as the constitution for your business. Once that's all signed, then you can go register the firm, get your licenses, your PAN, the whole shebang. Now, you probably noticed that registration is just one step on that list. And here's the thing. In India, registering a partnership is technically optional. But this brings up a huge question that every single founding team has to face. And here's the answer. And you need to hear this loud and clear. If you don't register, you run into one giant, potentially business-ending problem. You lose your right to sue. Anyone, for anything.
Let's really hammer this home, because this is where everything can fall apart. Section 69 of the Act is no joke. Imagine you land a huge client, you deliver perfect work, and they just decide not to pay you. If your firm isn't registered, tough luck. You can't take them to court to get your money. A partner can't even sue another partner if there's a major disagreement. You basically have no legal power to enforce your rights. This is why registration, while it's technically optional, is something you almost certainly want to do.
Okay, so your firm is launched, it's registered, it's making moves. But here's the reality. Businesses are never static. People come, people go, priorities shift. This next phase is all about managing that evolution, which the law has a fancy term for, reconstitution. So what kinds of things can trigger a reconstitution? Well, pretty much any major change to the team's DNA. Bringing on a new partner, having someone retire or pass away, even just changing up how you split the profits. Technically, any of these things means the old partnership agreement is dissolved and a new one has begun, even if the business name on the door stays exactly the same.
Let's zoom in on one of the most common situations here, a partner retiring. It's so easy to think that once they say their goodbyes and walk out the door, they're completely off the hook. But the law has a very important catch you have to be aware of.
This is absolutely critical. Until a retiring partner gives what's called public notice, they can still be held responsible for the firm's debts and actions even after they've left. To officially sever that tie, they have to tell the world. That means sending a notice to the registrar of firms, getting it published in the official gazette, and in a local newspaper. Only then is that chain of liability truly broken for anything that happens in the future.
You know how they say all good things must come to an end? Well, that's true for partnerships too. Whether it's a planned exit or because of circumstances, every partnership journey has a final chapter, the formal dissolution of the firm.
So what do we mean by dissolution?
This isn't like reconstitution, where the business just gets a new agreement and keeps on trucking. No, dissolution is the end of the line. The partnership between all the partners is officially over, and the business's affairs have to be completely and totally wound up.
When the time comes to close up shop, there's a strict legal pecking order for who gets paid. Section 48 lays it all out. First in line are any outsiders, your suppliers, the bank, anyone the firm owes money to. After they're all paid, the next in line are partners who might have made extra loans to the firm. Third, the partners get their original capital contributions back, and only after all of that is done, if there's anything left, that residue is finally distributed as profit.
So when you step back and look at this whole journey, it becomes pretty clear, right? A partnership isn't just a business structure. It's a legal relationship with a defined life cycle. It has a birth, a life full of growth and change, and a formal, proper end. Understanding every one of those stages is the absolute key to navigating it all successfully.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. Now that you know the full journey, from figuring out your true intent and the critical need for registration, all the way to handling changes and planning for the end, you can really ask yourself, is a partnership the right path for my idea? Because being prepared for the entire life cycle, well, that's where you'll find your answer.